we actually, as MI5 officers, we actually signed Section 1 of the Official Secrets Act, which restricts us even more in some ways. And you're right. This book's never ever been done or allowed to be done before. It's the first time it's ever been told, actually, ground level account of what a surveillance officer's like. But for me, I wanted to tell the other side of that whole the operations and what it's like to be actually on the ground protecting people. And I can't sort of comment for the security service themselves, but I think it's important that the public do know that we're out there hunting these people down. And you know, I've had to change some of the details to make sure that none of my old team and none of the future operations are compromised. But I think it does the job.
And it's important for you to be able to make a living, of course, because it's something that you've found difficult since leaving MI5, because, of course, there are all sorts of gaps in your CV that you can't explain.
Yeah, no, it's when you leave, you do feel like you feel within yourself you've got a lot to offer, but when you go to a company that is already oversubscribed for the job applications, and you trying to explain why you've got such a big gap in your CV, it's almost impossible to try and convince them to give you a job when there's so many more other sort of civilian qualified applicants in front of you.
It must be frustrating because you've been there saving lives.
Yeah.
And you can't tell people that.
No, it is frustrating. It's almost like a step off a cliff when you think you've been the work you've been doing and the people that you've been helping and the camaraderie within the surveillance teams, and then all of a sudden you whipped out of that world and you know, you find yourself working in call centres or flipping burgers or just doing anything to try and bring money into the house.
Because it's not overstating it to say that you've been involved in saving dozens of lives. What's it like knowing that now? Has it been burdensome? Have you struggled with the threats that you face when you were in the MI5?
The reason I had to leave is because I was diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and it was recognised and treated by the security service, but that obviously meant I couldn't carry on. So there was that period of dealing with that was extremely difficult, but the service was so good in helping me through that period. But it's something you're always aware of those threats that are there. So
you must have had incredible close calls, threats to yourself and threats obviously to the wider population.
Yeah, there's quite a few instances. I mean, there's the big one that I talk about in the book where I was very, very nearly kidnapped and taken off the street by Islamic extremists. It's the first time we've ever seen that on UK soil, is where they actually turned and tried to target us. We were the hunters, we're the ones tracking these people down, and then all of a sudden we find ourselves as the ones who are being hunted. And that was very, very nearly the last day I was on the ground.
How did they know who you are? Because you're obviously an expert, as your colleagues are, in keeping a very low profile.
Yeah, we're extremely good at it. We're best in the world at it, and we'd never seen this type of behaviour before from these types of targets. And we dealt with it with the Irish before, but with Islamic extremists, we'd never seen this type of counter-surveillance before, and they'd recruited a few of their associates to essentially follow them. And as they were rotating around, they were all talking to themselves over walkie-talkies, and they were identifying our surveillance team as we were all rotating around, trying not to be seen. But obviously, they were cross-referencing all our vehicle numbers and the types of vehicles, and then eventually they had enough information to try and set up a trap to funnel some people in, and I happened to be one of those people that was first out.
But you got out?
Yeah, thankfully. Something, for whatever reason, spooked them off. They didn't take me, and lived to tell the tale.
How many close calls like that have there been? And the wider question is, how safe are the rest of us at the moment?
In this country, we are the safest place in the world. And I say that because our agencies, the intelligence agencies, MI5, MI6, GCHQ, we are the best in the world at what we do. We work extremely closely with extremely dangerous people who want to, commit mass murder. But what I talk about in the book, and the point of the book is is it's designed to make people, yes, aware of the threat, but you are absolutely safe, because although these are dangerous people wanting to hurt you, they have never ever come up against the likes of us. You know, we are 10 steps ahead. We hunt these people down relentlessly all the time.
So look, we're protecting your identity now because you can't share that with the wider population. Your wife knows roughly what you do because she works in a similar sphere. But what about the rest of us? When we're out on the street in the city or town we live in this evening, will we walk past an MI5 agent who's there monitoring what's going on? Are you all over the place, or aren't there enough of you?
To answer your first point, if you walk down the street and you're walking home and a surveillance team is out on the ground, you would not know we were there. And it needs to be like that, because when we're hunting our terrorists down, the people who we're investigating, they don't know we're there. And it needs to be that way so we can gain as much intelligence as we can. In terms of how safe you are, you're 100% safe. We do everything humanly possible, day and night, working, absolutely relentlessly, hours and hours and hours put into keeping people safe. And I think that's the point to take home, is that we're out there.